Welcome back to Tartarian Tales 83 with Art of DiNo. I've got two small Tartarian tales coming up, which are small, but they pack a little bit of a punch. This one has a very interesting punch at the very end, so stay tuned of that. But this is from an article January 24th, 1918 in the Union Times, and I found it very interesting as it is referred to. It says German, not Huns. And this is a kind of a take on stuff that I've never really heard about before, and I had to share it because underneath it says German, not Huns. It says today's enemy of mankind, descendant of Goths. So that immediately had me intrigued. Who is the enemy of mankind during this particular time in 1918? And I know what they thought of the Germans and what they inevitably did to the Germans, so I'm very curious about what happened before and what their kind of thoughts were. And then I read this article and I was like, wow, the guy that wrote this was pretty intense, pretty interesting, and it's from the Union. So again, take from it what you will. It is again not my opinion. I'm reading an article that is already out there, and so take a listen to this because it has some information that I never really heard before, never really thought of, and it's very, very interesting. Here we go. To the editor of The State, German, not Huns, today's enemy of mankind, descendant of Goths. Your editorial in Friday's State is misleading. You make it appear that a German is a Hun and a Hun a German. It is true that the Great War is being conducted on the other side in a very strikingly Hunnish manner, but the ethnographer knows that the modern Hun is a scion of the ancient people of Tartary, whose diabolical deeds caused the Chinese to build the Great Wall across China that even a Hun could not scale or batter down. Under Attila, quote, the scourge of God, these people invaded Europe, and what they did is too well known to repeat. The German, on the other hand, is of Teutonic stock, the descendants of the Goths, and the student of history is also aware of their doings. We find them as Visigoths and Ostrogoths, but are the same people, the one coming from the west, Visi, and the other coming from the east, Ostro. Their deeds are also well known, trampling into rust, utterly annihilating the world's most lasting civilization, a civilization covering a period of 2,200 years and wiping from the face of the earth a people, the greatest lawgivers of the ages. So, boom, Tartarians, all this kind of ancient stuff, Goths, Huns. To me, they seem like they are from beyond the realm, or their parent cities or their parent mother countries are beyond the realm, and that part was just left out of everything for us. I could be wrong again, but that's the vibe I get. Here we go, keep going. It is not generally known, but is a patent fact that nearly every civil government today has its code, the basic laws taken bodily from the Roman code. The Jewish laws were taken from the drastic codes of the Assyrians, Babylonians, Chaldeans, Egyptian, and so on. Civil liberty, wherever found, is a legal jewel left us by the Roman, a precious heritage of paganism. The Hun and the Goth are strangers, have ever been strangers, to this pagan gift of Rome, liberty. So that's by A.W. Brabham, who also has a little P.S. that he slides in here. In my varied readings, I must think, from scraps picked up here and there, the Goths were the people who invaded India at a period so remote that the historian cannot get at the basic facts. At any rate, the invaders did not overrun the Hindu, but assimilated or amalgamated with them. Facts that cannot be disputed demonstrate that the white man was born in Europe, and the white blood of all the East, even in prehistoric times, was of European stock. Evidences in both France and Germany have come to light that make the white race at least 50,000 years old and had its beginning somewhere on or near the Somme. Of course, this does not coincide with the teachings of the Jews, but they claim everything and have not the least right to do it. AWBLR, Columbia State. Very slap at the end, and but in general, wow. And that is just a great take on a lot of history, and you know, a lot of that's the truth. You know, whether it's the Jewish people or another people that are writing history, nobody has the right to just claim a history and without any, you know, as a fact, without totally backing it up or anything really. And we all have such strange histories. There's been so many different wars, so many different winners, so many different losers, that it is impossible to keep track of who is actually accurate and who is not, because whoever's in control at the time, whoever it is, and they always like to work together to keep themselves in power and in total control of information, of everything. Those people tend to leave out a lot that doesn't belong to them, and or that goes against their thoughts, or that could change the way people that they govern think. There are so many different factors that go into the preservation of history and knowledge, and it's impossible to really know exactly what is what. But we know that the one thing we know is that what we've been told and what we're constantly being told in the news and stuff like that is total baloney, total garbage, total filth, total just propagandized information designed for a certain outcome of a population, and it cannot be trusted. Although there are people that have, like us, that have questioned this throughout time, and those people tend to dig a lot deeper and have a sense of truth that's a little tougher to define than the controlled people spitting out truth that's as flimsy and useless as just a piece of toilet paper that's used. So all of it really kind of makes you think and makes you wonder. Again, the Huns, the Attila the Hun. It's a lot of these things, a lot of these terms that we know loosely or we know lightly from different popular or cultural aspects, but we never really dive deeper in there. And the more deep we dive down, the more research we do into the past and what past people and generations thought, at least we get a little bit closer to the truth. But you never know. There's so many things going on in every different direction that it's tough to tell which way is up even. And that's kind of what I think they're doing in this modern era right now, where both sides seem terrible. Both sides of the story of the popular news articles or the top stories of the time are just, both sides are disgusting. So where does one turn? You can either latch onto one side, which is garbage, or the other side, which is evil as well. You have to ignore all of these wag the dog episodes and just go for what we know. And if you can't trust it, and if you don't know it, then don't swear by it, and don't just base your stock on it, because there's so much we don't know, and history changes all the time with the arrival of new information or new evidence or new discoveries underground or wherever they may be, beyond the realm where all the answers most likely lie. They've probably been filming us throughout all this time beyond the realm. We're the Truman Show to them, and they're just like, what is wrong with these people? Let's see how we can change them. Who knows? So many theories being bombarded at you, but either way, I thought this article was really cool. And very interesting also how it talked about the white men around for 50,000 years. And again, that's just a number pulled out of someone's behind. I tend, again, to think that this place and the technology here and all this stuff that you see, all these ancient buildings, all the things you hear about, all the distances, all the amounts of people you hear about, the things like the Great Wall and how that was even possible to be built, the architectural marvels of all the past wonders, point to me personally towards a whole universe, a whole world, multiple civilizations beyond the realms, which came down here in time to do their specific things. They've been given the speech and the directives to not bring up that particular topic of where they came from and stuff, and time. Civilizations just destroy it all, and so it gets lost. And that's how this refers to it as well. This whole article, this guy, even though he's countering what is out there, he takes it that he doesn't know where everything came from, and that history at one point was just eradicated to the point of no return in India, in all these countries. So we just have to really guess and do what feels right, go by our instinct, go by our gut, and every little piece adds to the puzzle. But we know, there's certain things that we know, and that I feel is that the most important stuff, and that's that this realm is way bigger, this world is way bigger than they tell us, which blows the potential of everything that we know just into a whole nother era, a whole nother multitude of dimensions. And also that we're being lied to, and history is a lie that needs to be rediscovered, needs to be found and told and taught to the future, because the past and history that we're discovering is so much better than the one that they fed us. It just elaborates on every single area of possible knowledge and a possible human triumph, and just even acknowledging those buildings and those massive technologies and all of these amazing things, and realizing that we come from those things and we've come from that. And however, whether we're the creations of it from a lab or we're the genetic descendants of all that stuff, we have to factor it in, and we have to be proud of that. And the more we know, the better. And truth is, it enhances a person's life, and lies really act as a cancer on one's soul, on one's everything. And so we don't want to fall for any things. It's better to be even skeptical than to just ride onto a lie and ride it into the ground when it's totally wrong. And so, it breeds people get angry at you, all this stuff. So I just rambled a ton based on this article, and so I hope there was something in there for people to grasp onto, and if not, then whatever. I apologize. But there's more to come. The next Tartarian Tales is going to be a little bit of a folk tale, so prepare for that. But again, every time Tartary is mentioned, it adds a little bit of information to the whole of the story that's missing. And a giant chunk was gutted from our history, and we need to rediscover it. And it's funny, again, this article refers to that Tartarian race as the lawgivers. So very cool. What is that? What were they? Where do we come from? Basically is the ultimate question. Where do we get the world of today? How exactly did we get to today? And the only way to know that is to know exactly how the past went, and not to trust those who tell you how the past went millions of years ago, or 100,000,000 years ago, or there was nothingness. Anyone that closes off a statement like there was nothing, that's impossible, blah, 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 they don't know what they're talking about. No one does. So until we raid the libraries, or until we meet the people from beyond the realm, the historians that are out there beyond the realm, that are laughing at us and watching us and taking our history down and learning what not to do from it, then when they tell us, then all will be well, and we can set the record straight once and for all, and we can proceed the way we should be able to proceed, by the light and guidance of truth, and the miracles of the human world will just be open to us, because we are closing them out in this present mindset, in this present control system, and we are focusing on all the wrong things. In the ancients, anyone that's capable of building those kind of buildings is someone that I trust and want to learn from. And they've got all these ancient sacred holy books, holy texts. They were living in a totally different realm of reality, and that realm is much more preferable to this slave-driven monetary god style of the modern era, which we know is false. We know is disgusting. In every aspect of our bodies and souls, we can feel that this is not right, and we need to get back to what is right. So leave your comments below. I rambled a ton, and hope you enjoyed it. Bless you all.